Yes, 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 yes. The hit maker of that particular song, Fiti, is right here in studio. He is a songwriter, singer, and gospel rapper, and award-winning, by the way, Manolo. Yo. How are you doing, Manolo?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Mwaka mzima tunaonana leo.
Surely leo ni happy birthday,
happy New Year,
happy
Easter. Mashujaa is tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yeah. But you're well?
Yeah, I'm good. You've been okay?
I've been okay. Thank you for having me on the show.
We are glad to have you here, Manolo. Yeah. Tomorrow we get to celebrate Mashujaa Day. I don't know, very quickly, maybe who you'll be celebrating as your Shujaa?
My Shujaa, definitely my folks. My folks are my Shujaas, my parents. I mad respect to them, you know. For us, for millennials, to say our parents are the boomers. And you know, they're the ones who like, wakona zile stories za tulienda shule bila viatu. And you know, sometimes we laugh at those stories, but they are for real, they are true. Sometimes, you know, I mean, it's such an honor and a privilege. Anytime naenda na mzae Ocha, we go to the reserve area, and he shows me this way I used to school. We used to come here in the morning. We used to go and fetch firewood here. And I'm just like, man, these are my Shujaas. Yes.
To see the life that they got to give you from what they had.
Exactly.
You definitely have to celebrate them.
It's so little, and then, you know, they come up with a lot. And so just celebrate them.
Amazing, amazing.
And to every other parent out there who's working hard to make sure that their kids are staying in school, who's working hard, who's doing something just to make sure that their kids have a life.
They're all Shujaas to us.
They're all Shujaas to us.
Amazing, amazing. What a way to put it. Now, Manolo, there's something I always love to hear from every artist who comes on this show, or every artist that I get a chance to interview, and that is, I would love to know your earliest memories of music. When you actually knew that, okay, this is music. There's actually something known as music. Can you remember when that was for you?
Oh man, my earliest memory of music is, so I'll pivot again. So to my dad, every Sunday morning, my dad would play a lot of music. And that's how we know it's church. And so my earliest memory is, that used to be one of my favorite moments in the whole week. I used to look forward to like music coming from, you know, the living room in the morning. And, you know, he's playing all these Tanzanian choirs. TZ wamekuwa na to rock for a while. Kutoka back then.
And they still are doing that.
Yeah,
right
guys say, I'm like, you don't know Shinyanga AIC choir.
Okay, the Shinyanga you know is the song Shinyanga Shiwe.
No. For those who know, TZ has been rocking Kenya for a while. So I used to look forward to those Sundays, and we used to have this guy, Muhubiri. Man, I'm telling my age.
Hey Manolo, how old are you?
Cassette zake zilikuwa zinachezwa kutoka morning mpaka jioni. And you're like, man. So that's my earliest memory of music. I used to know there's this thing that I enjoy. There's a way that I feel and I move when I hear these songs being played. And that's my earliest memory.
And from then, did you maybe want to get into the music industry, or you were just enjoying the music? And when exactly did you decide, okay, I think this is something I want to get into?
Yeah, you know, for me, music was passion. It was just something I really enjoyed doing. And as I got, you know, as I grew even in church, I realized this is a tool we can use, because we had that moment of praise and worship. I was like, so there's a way we can use music to worship God. God created music for something. It's a tool. He created it to do something. And then as I went on, now in 2012, I realized, oh man, I can go to the studio and record something. And that's the first time I went to the studio. I was in a group called Rika.
Yeah.
We went together, recorded some nice urban gospel music. And from then on, the rest is history.
Recap was huge. I mean, it was the urban group, you know. Wale wanakama cool kids. It was such a dope group, and you were the lead member of that particular group, as you just mentioned. So since you went solo, since you got into your solo career, which you did in 2018, so this is the 5th year, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. Just
how has that journey been, being that you were part of a group and now working solo? How has that been for you?
Oh man, it's been an interesting journey. You know, one of the main things you realize as soon as you leave a group is that, you know, you don't have that support you had. So you can easily second guess yourself. When you're in a group, you're like, 3 of us, 4 of us are in agreement on this thing.
I am sure that you enjoyed those songs from Manolo. He is right here in studio with us, as you had seen earlier. In case you're joining us, yes, Manolo is here in studio with us. And before we took that short break, we had a little of a technical hit, and you were just explaining to me how that transition has been for you and how your journey as a solo artist has been 5 years on.
Yes, you know, the biggest change is that from when you leave a group and now you go solo, there's, you know, you lose that support, of course. You know, when you're in a group, you decide on something and you're like, we're in agreement, let's go ahead. But now you go by yourself. And so you have to fight with second guessing and, you know, that self-doubt. And, you know, you have to really dig into the word. One of the scriptures that really encourages me, it says, the smallness you feel did not come from God. You know, any smallness you feel in the field that you're in, it does not come from God. God is pro things. He's positive. He's for you. He has good plans for you. And so anytime I feel that small-mindedness, I feel that self-doubt coming, I'm just like, you know, this has not come from God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and your sound, I feel like it has kind of changed.
Yeah.
You know, from the time you decided to go solo to now. How would you say it has morphed for you?
Wow. I'd say in the group, we did a lot of urban music. It was so much rap because we were 3 rappers. So, you know, you have to accommodate that. But as Manolo, I can rap, I can sing, you know, I lead worship at church. And so all that has been fused into my style, just as being Manolo. And so I would say it has mellowed out more and has become a bit more mainstream, if you would say. And I love the new style that you're going with. I mean, we're going to talk about the album that is actually going to be released today at 10. Yes, we're counting a few hours.
Baada ya masaa machache hivi, the album will be dropping, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But I'd love to, I wouldn't want this interview to end without us talking about Siko Solo.
Yeah.
Tell me about the initiative Siko Solo and what you're doing with it. I see that now you have a podcast also, still in line with that. Just tell me a bit about that.
So Siko Solo is a mental health initiative, and this started in 2020. Came together with one of my friends, Mary Monari, and we started this initiative that is all about mental health awareness. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we talk about it and create that conversation around it as much as we can. You know, for those who don't know, come in. For those who know, come in. Because, you know, for a long time, mental health has been seen as, hii ni topic ya mababi, hii ni kitu ya watu wa uptown, you know, but, you know, which is such, it's a myth. Because in reality, mental health is something that we are all facing. You know, the statistics zinaenda zikichange every day. It was 1 in 5. Now it's going to up to 1 in 3 people are facing mental health challenges.
Oh, 1 in 3?
Yeah. So it's something that we need to face even as a society. I love what the government is doing about it. You know, could be better. Of course, there's room for improvement, but I love that there are strides going in. You know, even in our country and just our society looking at that. And for me, I'm saying, as Manolo, I'm not a professional in that field, but I can do something. In the sphere of influence that God has given me, I can do something. I can talk about it. I can let people know. And, you know, our dream and our hope is to see mental health be something that can be talked about in the family unit. That in every family, it's something that you can talk about. You, as a father, you can have a conversation with your children about depression, about anxiety, about, like, people can have that knowledge.
That's a really, really good initiative that you have. And I'm glad that more people are talking about mental health, because last week we also had someone in studio, actually 2 people in studio, who are actually also talking about mental health. So I love that we are screaming about it now. You know, we are no longer silent. It's no longer a topic that we just speak in harsh tones. We are putting it out there, and I love to see it. Now let's get into the business of the day, which is Karibu the album.
Karibu the album.
It is your debut album.
Yes.
Why now?
First album as Manolo. Why now? Man, I think God's timing is the best. God's timing is the best. Yeah, his timing is just amazing. You know, I didn't even plan on doing an album. I met up with one of my good friends. He's a producer, And he's worked on a lot of secular music, but kikweli ye mwenyewe, the way I know him and how he leads his life, he's a youth pastor, so I was like, bro, he's like, hii ni unga man, mimi natafuta tu unga lakini, and I asked him, mbona basi auchangi kwa hii side ingine ya gospel yenye najua uko passionate about. Kama mimi sijapata msanii serious mwenye anaweza work na nikamwambia nipe session na kuja sahi. Kamba come, and that's how we started.
Oh, really?
So Wadomolo and I started recording songs. Every week we would do like 3-4 songs, and we just started recording and recording. And out of all those sessions, Karibu is one of the projects that was born. Yes.
Karibu has 20 songs. How long did it take you to put the work of art together?
So started working on Karibu in 2021. 2021. It's long since
2021.
Akisema yote in full 2021.
2000.
Yeah. So 2021 is when we started working on this project. And so we're just recording, you know, venye Mungu tu anatupe inspiration, tuna record. And then, you know, from that, I sent out a couple of songs. I sent out to many people. I was like, I would love you to be on this project with me, collab with me on this. Called out to many people. Few came back, few got back to me, and we got to do collabs, amazing collabs with Alice Kimanzi, Paul Clement from TZ, Zoravo from TZ, Dadio and the legend himself.
Wow.
We got to do a song with one of the really, really good collabs that I love in there is with Recap. So the group that I was
in... You've actually worked with Recap on this album?
I was like, kujeni tuwape moja.
Wow.
So, yeah, and so nimeenjoy sana kuwork on this project since 2021. It's been a long time coming, and, you know, good things take time, great things take even more time. So there we are.
Amazing. As you've mentioned, you've collaborated with several artists, big artists actually, let me not say just artists. You've collaborated with dope artists, great artists, and you've done 9 collaborations.
Yes.
So how did you go about picking? You said you reached out to a number of people.
Yes.
What were you looking for when you were reaching out to each person that you tried to reach out to and the ones that are in the album?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you here, Vivian. When you want to do collaborations, sometimes you reach out to people and they have this grandiose mentality. They know, mimi mkubwa kushinda huyu. So, I mean, watakusumbua and all that. And for some time, hata sikuwa nafanya collaborations because I was like, people I reach out to and I feel, kuna upcoming flani nasaidia hapa. And I didn't want that because it spoils the vibe of the song. And, you know, somehow, even the audience get to feel that thing for, hii alikuja tu akaekelea na akaenda. Akaekelea tu verse, you know what I'm saying? Hii alikuja akaekelea tu verse na akaenda home. So what I was looking for is authentic relationship. With most of the people I've done songs with in this album, there are people who we've sat down, we've talked, I've told them how they inspired me, how I grew up listening to Dadio and yani akitoa tulie tokange tulie to, I was in school like mmesikia song mpya Dadio and so just there are people who have sat down with, had lunch, we have an authentic relationship, and out of that we got to do the songs. People like Pitson are people who have sat down with, and you know, they shared their testimony with me, and wameni jenga sana. And so through that, we have these amazing collabs. That's what I was looking for.
All right. And now, as we wind up with the interview, I'd love for you to tell us, when people get to listen to this album, which is coming out in a couple of hours, you know, in an hour and about 13 minutes, what exactly would you want them to get off of the album, as you also let us know where they can find the album?
All right. So the main theme around this album, Karibu, welcome home. Just that. As simple as that. It's saying, wherever you are in life, God has a huge welcome sign for you, and he's saying, come to the table. Just like the prodigal son, you know, we're told that when the father saw him coming, meaning, babake alikuwa anaamka every day, anaenda kungojea, today my son may come back. Today my son may come back. And that's how our Father's heart is. And so sometimes we feel like God wants us to be perfect. No, he wants us as we are. He wants us to be pressing on towards him. And that's what I want people to get out of all these songs. That Mungu tu yake ni, I love you, come to me.
Come as you are.
Come as you are, njia yoyote venye tu utakuja we kuja. Just come. And so you can find me as Manolo_K across all platforms. Download the album on all digital platforms, whether it's Boomplay, Audiomack, Spotify. Yenye iko karibu na wewe. Get the album there.
All right, amazing. I hope that you are going to look out for that album immediately it drops, because I trust that it is a dope album. I've seen already 2 songs off of the album, and I think we should wind Manolo's interview with one of the songs. Tukimaliza, thank you so much, Manolo, for coming.
Asante. Thank you for having me, Vivian.
All right.